But yeah, that time was pretty hectic right there at the store, at the I was gonna say supermarket, but no, well, if you consider Super Walmart a supermarket, I guess it is considered a supermarket then. And I know that too. Probably a lot of you probably want to see my face and stuff like that because y'all probably all curious as to what I look like. This dude, this wacky dude who's been like making this Kirby story and stuff. And I'm sure y'all probably want to see me and stuff. But the truth is that I probably don't want y'all to see me, not because of for any real bad reason, but mostly because every time you hear my voice and every time you watch my videos and see the designation there, GS Night, I just want you to picture some night, okay? And that's basically why I don't want you to see me just the way how like some of my friends got like various like character like buddy icons or like channel icons. And generally when I get messages from them, I usually like envision like the character speaking for them sometimes. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but I don't know. Especially like the ones that call themselves like a Naruto fan, or if they have a name of a character and maybe then like the video icon of that character, it kind of makes me think, well, then this person, whoever it is, their profile is named like the character and their channel icon is like the character, so it's kind of like the character saying that then. That's only why I don't want you to see me. Okay, but anyway, it took a long time constructing this house when we got the phone, and after the whole incident with true crime and stuff, it took maybe about, I don't know, maybe 5 days or something to complete it. Spending a few hours every day, which I'm not a very good painter, as you can tell. I mean, some things were done pretty well, like the brick fireplace and stuff like that, but especially the tile here in the kitchen where I tried to build a tile wall, it's pretty uneven, and I don't think I really captured it. At some point, I was even thinking if I'm going to attempt this over again, I may cut little pieces of plastic that look like pieces of tile and just like paste them down. The outside came out looking pretty well. It really did look like siding and stuff like that, and stucco, which is what I was going for. You probably can't tell neither. You might be able to tell right there, but those little bitty like granule things are like that artificial snow you throw on a tree. I like glued those down too. And these Christmas trees that got like little snowflakes on them. And there's even some in the house, which doesn't make a lot of sense unless they're artificial trees that the characters put in here with artificial snow. But then again, if you try to take it literally like that, I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense anyway. Why all these characters would be here, unless you start to think in terms like the Kirby story. Now, there are a lot of characters that aren't necessarily in the Kirby story, like Ryona here from Final Fantasy VIII. The reason why I didn't want her in it is because we had already used her in a lot of previous fan fictions that have never really been on the net. They usually involve like Pikachu and Ryona together, and they had like Ash and a few other the main characters like Misty and Brock, and I believe they may have even had like some of the other real staple Pokemon characters like Butterfree and Heracross and stuff like that. But some of the characters I do want to point out in this room that are in the Kirby story is probably, of course, like Master Chief, Raticate, Kasumi, Jolteon. You can see his head right there next to Vaporeon, and Vaporeon is in the Kirby story as well. So is yeah, I do believe that Machoke is in the Kirby story as well. Let's see who else. Pashmina Ham is in the Kirby story. Plusum and Minum are in the Kirby story. Torchic. Rover from Animal Crossing. Zatu and Cacturn. There's some little bitty figures there, like action figures, kind of blurring up. They're supposed to be like guerrillas, what's called guerrillas, which basically means World War II soldiers. They could be German or allied or anything like that, just as long as they're from the World War II era. Hit Top is in the Kirby story. Hitmonlee, you can probably see them right there, and Hitmonchan, they're in the Kirby story. Ioni's in the Kirby story. Sharpedo's in the Kirby story. Gorillas are in the Kirby story. Gurgle, what we call Gurgle, or the Gyroids from Animal Crossing, they're in the Kirby story. These Animal Crossing characters right here are in the Kirby story. Let me see who else. Yeah, that little lady kind of dog character from Animal Crossing right there. Probably can't really tell who it is, but she's in the Kirby story too. Let's see, now let's go outside here. Well, Heracross is in the Kirby story, Tom Nook, and of course Kirby. Helena's in the Kirby story. Flygon's in the Kirby story. Thug, the Thug right there is in the Kirby story. Those thugs there are in the Kirby story. Team Dark, which is basically all these Pokemon right here, starting with Sentret all the way over here to Medicham, and these two in between are in the Kirby story. Wadley D, he's in the Kirby story. And then of course Green Kirby, which we call Emerald Knight, he's in the Kirby story because there's more than one Kirby. There's various color Kirbys, almost like how there's multiple Yoshis on Mario. And we gave each one their identification and their names, like to identify them from one another. Like I remember the Yoshis, I think we called like the purple Yoshi like Malachi or something like that, and we called the red Yoshi, which red Yoshi also happens to be in the Kirby story briefly, kind of just almost like a camo type appearance, and his name was Luasi. He's in the Kirby story, and he's also a individual character. He's not necessarily Yoshi per se. Just like this is not really Kirby per se. It's the same type of character like Kirby, but it's actually a different color character in our fan fiction anyway, called Emerald Knight. And the reason why we got all these names like Emerald Knight and Chocolate Knight and stuff like that is based on a lot of like the Game Boy Advance Kirby games, like Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland and stuff like that, and even Kirby Squeak Squad, where you could change the color of your Kirby and he would be called a little bit different, like Chocolate or Emerald or Ocean or Yellow or Citrus and Chalk and stuff like that. And we say, well, what about if these are actually different characters, that they're not all called Kirby and that their names are like that? Maybe they're called, like, let's say Chalk. It wouldn't just be Chalk, like a Chalk Rock. It would be Chalk then Knight, because they're all like knights, because Kirby's like a knight. And we said, yeah, we could use that idea that they're all actually in the Kirby story that way, and that they're all actually knights and stuff. And they all have like designations like that. And I think I might even want to take it a bit further by giving them also to some of the more major ones, like common names. Names that could be, just like regular names you would hear for any person. For some of the different knights. And that's what I was thinking about anyway. And yeah, there's quite a collection of characters here. Video game characters and TV show characters. I think mostly video game characters, because I think the only TV show characters we got that were almost exclusively originally TV show characters was like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that. The rest of them all have pretty strong connections to like video games and stuff like that. And probably judging by the collection of characters, you can pretty much tell that we play pretty much every system there is. Like Nintendo with Pokemon, and Rayona Final Fantasy, and Master Chief Xbox and stuff like that, and even I guess like subcategories like Game Boy Advance and stuff like that, and Nintendo, GameCube and DS and stuff like that, and Wii for Animal Crossing and whatnot. So you can tell there's a good mix of characters here because we play a lot of different video games.